to 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
Where the pros play. Down for the count with Brandon Medina and Dan Cialana.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, ESPN San Antonio proudly brings to you the best show in the world. This is Down for the Count. I'm your man, Brandon Big Papi Medina. That is Dangerous Dan Cialana. And back in the gorilla position, we have Mr. Wonderful Pleasure running the board for us. However, we are your one-stop shop.
Paul Orndorff is there?
Yes.
Running the board?
Yes, Paul Orndorff,
awesome.
Exactly.
It's a WrestleMania 1 throwback there.
It is a Christmas miracle, if you will, Dan Cialana. However, we are your one-stop shop for all things wrestling within the squared circle. And what a show, man. We have more of a free-form show than we usually do. However, we do have a special guest, hopefully, coming on in about 30 minutes or so, Dan.
It's always hopefully for us.
Always.
Because we always hope that they don't just look up our show and go, nah, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
We'll be talking to Shaw Guerrero, of course, the daughter of the late, great Eddie Guerrero and daughter of Vicky Guerrero as well. We're going to find out what it's like to be a wrestling Guerrero. And
Absolutely.
maybe, Brandon, I'll stop embarrassing myself by living in San Antonio and not being able to properly pronounce Guerrero.
Okay, fair enough.
Can't roll them R's.
Can't
you know
roll
what
the
I'm saying?
R's.
Can you help me out with that, Brandon?
Guerrero. You know what I mean? I think
There you
that's how we usually do. I think Pledger's over there trying himself as well. However, if wow,
I'm kind of
solid
turned on now, Pledger.
Listen, I gotta be honest. I don't know if I can do a show anymore. But with everything, we are on Facebook Live. We are obviously right there with you on your radio. Feel free to go hit us up on Twitter. I am at Big Papi Brandon M. Dan Cialana is at Dan for the Count. This is gonna be a great show, man. I think let's get right into it with NXT War Games. What an incredible pay-per-view, Dan. I know I had texted you beforehand and I was like, hey, are you watching this? And you were like, wouldn't miss it. So what did you think about the pay-per-view? Did it live up to the hype? Obviously, I was the one hyping it pretty much all the way up to the top, where I was saying it was going to be the best pay-per-view of the year. What do you think about the fallout, and what were some of your favorite moments?
Well, of course. Well, first of all, Brandon, I was actually surprised that you were hyped for NXT, because it kind of seems like maybe both you and I, but maybe more you haven't really been too excited about NXT lately these days. Maybe AEW has kind of taken precedent in your mind in terms of, just the excitement level. But I was surprised. You were all hyped for NXT. I'm like, oh, look at Brandon. Look at Brandon returning, going back to his love for NXT. Now, my favorite moment, Brandon. My favorite match. Because my football hero.
Oh,
you know me. Go. You know me. It's like, if you could just see my room right now, I mean, just wall-to-wall posters, Pat McAfee.
Yep.
I mean, in terms
punter
of
posters, right?
Punter posters, #punter posters. Just McAfee everywhere. McAfee socks, boxer shorts, assortment. Wow. You know me, because you know me. I am Mr. Football and Mr. Pat McAfee fan. I wouldn't
Absolutely.
miss it. Wouldn't miss it for the world.
Are you going to now, Dan? Now that we've seen a little bit more, are you going to put some respect on my boy Pat McAfee's name for his in-ring work?
And of course, I'm being sarcastic because you make fun of me. You say I'm a bad person for ridiculing Pat McAfee and thinking that nobody cares. James Pledger cares. James Pledger thinks that Pat McAfee brings eyes onto NXT TV.
Agreed.
I was skeptical. But I will say, though, Brandon, he did a good job. And all kidding aside, I know I like to make fun of Pat McAfee, but he did a great job. For someone who is not a longtime trained wrestler, for someone who doesn't need the money. He likes to brag about how much money he has. He doesn't really need the money. You can tell Pat McAfee is someone who really just loves wrestling. And not only did he want to just be there to be like a hype guy and kind of be ringside, but he put himself through spots and physicality that, like I said, he did not need to do. So, all kidding aside, much respect to Pat McAfee. I think he did a great job. And I was actually surprised that Undisputed Era won. I kind of thought they were going to be on their way out, maybe they'd kind of go out on their back, as is tradition in wrestling. I really thought McAfee and his crew were going to be the victors, so I was actually surprised that Undisputed Era still won the match. Great way to end War Games. I thought it was a solid pay-per-view.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Pat McAfee, like you said, it really, really did some interesting spots for somebody that's not normally in the squared circle. However, he didn't look bad. I think he sold very well. I think his move type obviously is not drastically vast, but he gave a pretty solid super kick. I mean, he put two people through a table, got put through a table, did a swanton bomb from the top of the cell. I mean, just absolutely nuts for somebody who's not in that environment. But on the flip side of that, the female War Games was, to me, the best match of the night and started off the whole night. So I think War Games in general, Dan, is why I was excited. I feel like when we see Hell in a Cell, when we see cage matches, which we don't really see as much anymore, right? It's always more Hell in a Cell, but there's something different about War Games. There's something different about NXT and AEW where it feels like an indie show. So
Yeah.
it still feels so intense and so crazy, like you don't know what's gonna happen. And I think that's where I was excited for War Games. The announcer, I'm not sure, I'm blanking on her name. However, her when she says War Games, I was already excited and hyped up. I watched it outside in the cold. We have put a TV outside and we were watching in the cold. Me and my stepdad just hanging out, and it was awesome. To me, it lived up to every sense of the hype. I think when you look at it, every match was incredible. Every match was fun. But to me, the females absolutely ran the show, and I feel like they do run the show in NXT a lot of times, as well as AEW here and there. But I think specifically to this show, the female War Games was wild. Io Shirai showed up. Obviously, Rhea Ripley showed up, but Raquel Gonzalez is now a solidified superstar on the brand due to War Games, which we saw happen last year with Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, and Brandon, you mentioned about how you liked how NXT still makes it feel like an indie show. And that's actually, I think, definitely one thing that NXT is doing well, not only on their pay-per-views, but their regular weekly product. NXT has resisted the temptation to try to outdo AEW because it'd be very easy for NXT to look at their competition on Wednesday night or run the TNT network and go, oh my God, they're at Daly's Place. They got a big arena. We need to have a bigger show. Our show needs to look bigger than theirs. But whenever you get into a situation where you're worried about someone else looking bigger than you will never be satisfied. So I'm glad that NXT is just saying, hey, you know what? We're going to keep that indie feel. We know who we are. We know the brand that we're trying to do. We know what kind of show we want to do. We're not going to respond to AEW. We're going to keep our show kind of dark and gritty, and I enjoy it. And that darkness and the grittiness translates to these pay-per-views, and especially War Games last Sunday. I really enjoyed it. One of my only concerns, though, or complaints, a little minor complaint, because I can never be completely positive. I miss NXT pay-per-views being on Saturday nights. I love watching pay-per-views on Saturday nights. Like with Sunday night, like this one, I go to bed early, got to wake up early Monday morning. Like I want to just be able to enjoy a pay-per-view and not have to wake up early the next morning. I don't know what it is about WWE, but that they think every pay-per-view needs to be on a Sunday night. I loved it when NXT was on Saturday nights. If anybody could just read my emails that I write to WWE, my weekly emails, vince@wwe.com, please move the NXT pay-per-views back to Saturday night. Please, please.
Absolutely, and I think me and you also, we kind of do double duty, if you will. So obviously, I co-host the Fantasy Gods with Michael Jimenez, and you run the gorilla position there. And I think this would have been a perfect time, right? If it was Saturday, Sunday, we could have brought up Pat McAfee, turned wrestling into the Fantasy Gods. It would have been a perfect opportunity for Dan Cialana and the Fantasy Gods to truly just connect and have a collaboration. But I agree with you. I do think Saturday nights is the spot for NXT. However, what I assume would be their reasoning is boxing is making a very big comeback on television on ESPN, and
Don't call it
UFC.
comeback.
Well, I'm saying, UFC is
Been there for
huge,
years.
right? But UFC is so big, and I think when they do their fights on Saturdays, I think that's where NXT loses viewership. But I wanted to ask you a question as well about another match that was there on War Games, if you had a chance to watch, just because this seemed to be more your type of style of wrestling. Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa had one of the most technical, aggressive, almost shoot matches I've seen in a long time, and it felt very 90s-esque, and I wanted to see what your thoughts were on that specific match with Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher.
I'd say more like 70s and 80s in a good way.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a wrestling match with holds and just mat wrestling. a lot of times during that match between Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa, I was just thinking about Vince Russo, bro, because we heard all this talk back in the day when Vince Russo would be in charge of WWE TV, not in charge, but when he was influential in WWE TV.
Right.
Vince Russo hated that stuff. No, it's boring, bro. Nobody cares about sleeper holds, bro. And I love that NXT is bringing that back. NXT is resisting the idea that all that stuff's in the past. Nobody cares about that. Nobody has the attention span for a mat wrestling classic match like that. And NXT continues to show that that's wrong. Like, there is still an audience for good old-fashioned mat wrestling, and that was a great match.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at it. The only person I can think of that has a technical side of wrestling still to this day would be a Daniel Bryan, but it's more of a finessed technical side, whereas this one was just hard nosed. I mean, Timothy Thatcher took a real knee to the side of his head and busted open his earlobe, it looked like, and that was crazy. But yeah, you're right. It felt very safe, 70s, 80s-esque, because there was not much personality to Timothy Thatcher, right? It has like plain Jane, your wrestling boots, your tights, and like that's it. There was nothing exciting about it. But then you have Tommaso Ciampa, who's been a staple there in NXT, and to see them go at it was something interesting. And I wanted to make sure to get your take because obviously you growing up in that '80s style wrestling, I thought you would really enjoy it. But going back to the female NXT War Games before we get out of here. What did you think about Raquel Gonzalez? This is somebody that I was not super familiar with going into it. Like you said, I watch NXT very periodically. AEW is where I pay most attention on Wednesdays, but I keep up with NXT storylines. However, it seems as if Raquel Gonzalez and Shotzi Blackheart were the real winners in this NXT War Games.
Yeah, and Raquel Gonzalez was dominating last night as well in NXT. I think she's going to be a great star. I mean, she already is a big star, but in 2021, I think she's going to just explode. She's huge. She's intimidating. I think she's a great part of that absolutely loaded NXT women's roster. But Brandon, speaking of wrestling women's roster, there's a great event coming up this Friday, Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
Our friend Thunder Rosa, Mission Pro Wrestling, doing Run It Back on Friday. And Brandon, do you want to give away free tickets to that?
You know what? I think I'm in the Christmas spirit. Yeah, I'm in the Christmas spirit.
We have a couple. We have a pair of tickets here. I think so. I got him some. Pledger's got him somewhere there. Can you check your pockets, Pledger? You got the. Yeah, you got to take. Oh, I think he's got a couple tickets there. You want to do the honors, Brandon?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess we're going to be giving out tickets to Thunder Rosa's Mission Pro Wrestling Run It Back. That's going to be Friday at 7:30. It's going to be an exciting show. So I'd say, what number are you thinking, Dan? The number of callers we should be picking to see who gets these tickets.
I think we should do caller number 6.
Caller number 6 it is. Caller number 6, you're going to win yourself a free pair of tickets to Mission Pro Wrestling's Run It Back event happening tomorrow at 7:30. All you got to be is caller number 6 to ESPN San Antonio. Dan Silana, give them that beautiful number that pays.
That's 210-656-ESPN, 210-656-3776. Caller number 6 gets a pair of tickets to see Mission Pro Wrestling Run It Back. See Thunder Rosa, Shaw Guerrero, Red Velvet, and all the badass women of Mission Pro Wrestling. Get your tickets at missionprowrestling.net or stream it live if you can't be there in person at titlematchnetwork.com. Of course, COVID safety protocols will be strictly enforced for all fans in attendance. That's going to be Friday night. Be caller 6 right now, 210-656-3776. And this is Down for the Count, your ESPN San Antonio wrestling show on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at espnsa.com/wrestling.
Jason Minix here for New Brakes, nubrakes.com. New Brakes is a mobile brake shop. They come to you to fix your brakes. If you know your brakes are going bad or you think they are, go to newbrakes.com and schedule your appointment. For you, for all of us, get your brakes fixed. Before you head out on the holiday road trip, get the sense of security while driving that your brakes won't fail you. Cold, wet weather is hard on your brakes. New Brakes has made getting your brakes repaired easy, convenient, and affordable. They'll come to your home, office, or wherever. Their certified brake techs will come to you to fix your brakes while you continue to do what you do. Working, online shopping, watching the game. They offer Saturday and Sunday appointments. They only fix brakes, and most repairs are done in less than an hour. New Brakes uses premium brake parts and back all repairs with a 24-month, 24,000-mile warranty. Go to nubrakes.com and schedule your repair. Save 10% when you mention my name or ESPN. Newbrakes.com. That's nubrakes.com.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Nobody plans on getting arrested, but it happens. Get out of jail fast by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. Call AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans and are open 24/7. Call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
It's been a hell of a year, San Antonio. I'm Chip Ingram, and my bars, the Roo Pub and Angry Elephant, have been closed more than they've been open, and I didn't see that coming. Fortunately, things are getting better. 281 North is open, and football is finally here. Our kitchen is open every day till 2 a.m., and we open for happy hour at 11 a.m. And you know, as our customers say, our food is pretty darn good. So this is me asking you to help a local guy and his staff get back on our feet. Come see us at the Roo Pub and Angry Elephant at 281 North and Redland Road.
When our seriously wounded soldiers come home from war, Paralyzed Veterans of America is there to help them get the care, benefits, and jobs they need. Join Mission Able to help them get back into life. Visit mission-able.com.
So is this something that maybe can be settled between you and Jade, possibly on Dynamite?
That's something I would like to see. Oh, sorry to interrupt. I would love to see that. Something else I forgot to mention. I had a little thing I went at Cody on Twitter.
Right.
Just me being me, having fun. No disrespect to these wrestlers. They're the best athletes in the world. Love Cody, love his brother, love his father. Big fan. That's just me messing around. But you and Jade, I can't wait to see that one. I'll be there.
All right, well, there you have it. Thanks for being with us.
Yep.
And Brandy, thank you very much. And
Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Yep.
all right, very cool.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, I'm sure they cleared that up. Thank you for being with us.
And
Okay.
Brandy, while your arm's in the sling, I think you should watch Jade. You can probably get some pointers from her.
That's a joke, right?
No, I'm serious.
Oh, so you're just going to disrespect me like that again? It's a pattern of behavior here that I'm saying, you know what, Tony? I'm sick of this shit. You are an overgrown hole.
That'll put some butts in seats.
That'll absolutely put the butts in seats.
Shaquille O'Neal on AEW Dynamite last night. I mean, hey, that's exciting, right?
Yeah, what did you think about this? This felt WCW.
I liked it a lot. I liked it. It was great. I really enjoyed seeing Shaq on AEW.
Is this your Shaq impression?
Put some butts in seats early. So gonna give you some pointers.
Breathe a little harder.
Actually, that's not an impression. That's just me putting my hands over that. That's offensive. That's rude. Okay, you know what? I've had the experience, I won't say good or bad, of seeing Shaq wrestle in person. Not on purpose.
When did you see Shaq wrestle? Hold on, what?
I did, and so did you. So did you, Brandon. Maybe it was so underwhelming that you don't remember.
I remember Shaq being at wrestling, but you said you were there, like you were there live, or you were just watching?
I was there live.
What?
There live, and you were there live as well.
At
in
25?
2016.
Where?
WrestleMania 32.
32.
In
Wow.
Dallas, they had the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Bro, you were so right.
Shaq was a surprise entrant into that Royal Rumble, and I remember because he was wearing his old Shaqnosis tennis shoes that I had when I was a kid. Shaqnosis. Shaq knows the titties.
Oh my
It
God.
was awesome. But he and apparently there was rumors that he was going to fight the Big Show. Never turned out. Oh no, too bad. And that's actually that's the battle royal that remember what's his name won. Corbin won. King Corbin.
Yes.
He wasn't king at the time, but yeah. So we've seen Shaq wrestle in person.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
So memorable.
Wow.
You don't remember it. Well, Brandon, do you think this will put butts in seats at AEW? You think people are gonna be like, yeah, I gotta watch Shaq. I gotta watch him do whatever he does. I gotta watch that compelling personality on my wrestling television.
Yes, I think
Yes.
it will. I think it will. Unfortunately, I do think there's going to be fans who maybe haven't watched in a while or don't watch at all. They're like, Shaq and wrestling? Yeah, let me check this out. I think when you look at it, you go back and do the numbers. The segments were awful back in the 90s, and they were not very good, but Dennis Rodman brought a lot of eyes to WCW television.
Yeah, and Jay Leno, the whole thing with the
Yeah.
crossover with the Jay Leno show, the Tonight Show. I mean, we make fun of it. We say it was bad segments, but like the Tonight Show was legit, and still is a big deal. But it was a real big deal back then. So to have wrestlers on the Tonight Show, and at the time in the '90s to have the host of the Tonight Show be involved in wrestling was a big deal with Dennis Rodman. So I don't know if they're going to be able to recreate that kind of magic with Shaq and AEW. Maybe I'm taking it too seriously. Maybe just could be just a fun one-off thing, whatever. I don't know. But I mean, I can take it or leave it. If I found out that whatever huge plans that AEW has with Shaq somehow fell through, I would not have to go retreat into my crying room and never watch wrestling again. I think I would somehow be able to get over it.
So you do have a specific
I do have
crying
a crying
room.
room. Yeah,
Right.
I do have it. Yeah. You don't have
I just
one
wanted
in
to
your...
make sure. No, I just wanted to make sure, just because normally I know we've heard about this illustrious crying room. I'm just glad that you're kind of addressing the rumors.
Well, every room is a crying room for me. Any
There you
room can
go.
be a crying room if you try hard enough.
Absolutely. Look at that.
Yeah.
Hey, never strive not to be great, Dan Silana. But with that,
I'm having
I
some
think
medicine interactions tonight, so I apologize.
I think Dennis Rodman brought eyes. Dennis Rodman was part of like the NWO, wasn't he, for a while there? So that was like the biggest one.
Well, I mean, who wasn't in NWO?
Yeah.
NWO. I mean,
Well,
NWO
Carl-
was kind of like. Do you remember that one time that they would show that video in the old clips of NWO? The limo pulled up, the NWO limo pulled up, and it was like a clown cart. Like 80 guys came out. So I mean, it was who was it? I think I was in NWO. I don't even remember.
Maybe were you in the Wolfpack NWO or regular? Do you remember any of those?
Well,
those
because I'm
days back
Hispanic,
then?
I had to be
No, I'm
Wolfpack
just
with Conan. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just asking. I have the
couldn't be with the
LWO
white
shirt.
people?
I'm in the Latino World Order, but with that,
Okay.
no, yeah. I mean, Carl. What was it? Who was there? Carl Malone was there with Diamond Dallas Page there too. There's been some wrestling and basketball, turnover here and there. I mean, we've seen LeBron at like every WWE show possible. Obviously, he has the super famous clip of LeBron with the flip phone recording Stone Cold Steve Austin back in his rookie year. But yeah, this is definitely going to bring eyes. But I think AEW in general, Dan, is bringing eyes to a product that is very new and is absolutely tearing the house down. When you look at it, Dan, nobody really cares about ratings anymore, right? We don't really talk about it much, but AEW had
our bosses do. I think our bosses care about
Right.
ratings a lot.
But for me and you, I mean, when we're talking wrestling, the ratings in wrestling really mattered in the 90s. Nowadays, I don't really know, but AEW had 995,000 viewers. NXT had only 659. AEW was number 2 on all cable and number 1 on all of cable in males 18 to 49, which is the big demographic that they want to be leading. So AEW with Sting has completely drove a wedge and torn apart in this competition where they are leading by a lot of people when it comes to watching their product. Do you think there is a tide changing in wrestling where AEW is now the most watched product over WWE?
I think it'd be very difficult, if not impossible, for AEW to ever overtake WWE in terms of long-term success.
Right.
I think AEW's, they're going to have a lot of successes week by week versus NXT for Dynamite. But in terms of just taking over WWE, I think WWE is so big that AEW just can't overcome them at this point.
Okay. What about
They're a
viewership
monster.
on the short term?
I think AEW will have a surge for a while, but they have to keep it up, though. They have to keep this momentum up. It's great that you can't have a big surprise like Sting every week. You can't have something like that every week where it's going to get people watching and talking about it. I love the crossover with Impact Wrestling. I love how it's getting eyes on Impact Wrestling. Well, I love parts of that. Some of it are crap. We can talk about that later. But I just love how AEW is just kind of just gaining momentum. And there was a lot of naysayers. And some people may think I was one of the naysayers. I was not a naysayer when AEW first debuted. I was just skeptical because a lot of the internet fans were like, "Oh, this is gonna be great. They're gonna kick WWE's ass." And it's like I was like, "All right, slow down a bit." But I think AEW is on great momentum, and I think if they just keep things up, keep a good company culture. We've been hearing some rumors about some backstage things at AEW that aren't too great in terms of the way some people claim to have been treated. That's going to happen in every company, but nonetheless, I think AEW is on a good momentum.
Yeah, and I think AEW is on pace right now and currently is, if we're going by media standards, kicking WWE's ass in every aspect on cable television. But I still think pay-per-views is where the draw in the sand, the line in the sand is very much drawn and very much towards WWE's favor with the WWE Network. So I assume they're going to be doing something similar on AEW possibly, or something where they can collaborate with an Impact Wrestling and Ring of Honor and New Japan or something like that. And then I know we have the High Spots Network for diehard indie fans, but I do think they need to have their own. But also, Dan, let's talk about Sting a little bit before we get out of here. So Sting is 61, Dan.
Yeah.
Sting has aged very well, obviously. Looks in great shape. Looks awesome. He has a huge name, one of the biggest wrestlers in the industry ever. How excited are you for a Sting crossover, couple matches or so at AEW? And who's number one on that list for you to watch go against Sting?
First of all, you think Sting's going to wrestle? Like, I'm not trying to be a smart ass. I'm actually asking you if you think that's a possibility.
I think there's no chance in hell that he does not. And I think the number one person on my list, personally, just from watching,
double negative. There's no chance in hell that he does not. So that means
Yes.
you mean he will.
He will.
Simple
Exactly.
ways to say Sting will wrestle.
Simple ways
You
to
need
say
keep things
61-year-old will wrestle. Yes.
You got to keep things simple for me, especially tonight with all my medication interactions.
Right.
I don't
Lots
even
of
know where I
lots
am
of
now.
lots of coding over there. I'm sure it's a 2000s hip hop
stuff
music
like that.
video.
I'm going to be in violation of the ESPN wellness policy.
Yeah. I mean, when are we not?
Yeah.
But with that,
because I got to be careful. Guys named Dan don't do well here at ESPN.
So Sting 61 will wrestle, and it looks like Darby Allin is going to be the first person up to bat if we're looking at just the two appearances he has had, and it looks like Cody will follow suit right after. Are you excited for a Darby Allin Sting collaboration?
Collaboration or match against each other?
We don't know. We have no idea, right? That's what I'm saying. That we have no idea what the plan is. If we're doing a one-on-one match, Darby Allin has way too much gas in the tank for Sting, I think.
I don't want to see Sting wrestle. I know we remember a few years ago, Sting had to retire from in-ring competition after a match with Seth Rollins, and Sting was not ready to retire from in-ring competition. And I know sometimes people say, well, WWE doctors, they're too conservative. They're too careful. Like maybe AEW doctors will be less conservative, less careful, and let Sting wrestle. I really don't want to see that happen. I really don't. I think Sting could be a great presence. He can be just a really influential person and a big part of AEW TV without risking hurting himself in the ring. I don't want to see Sting wrestle, but I do want to see Sting on TV a lot. I want to see him very involved. And that's what a lot of the rumors were in terms of like why he didn't want to continue with, excuse me, I hit the microphone, why he didn't want to continue with WWE, because WWE kind of wanted to put him out the pasture and kind of just be, one of these legends who maybe comes out and does a appearance here and there, does some charity stuff, but Sting really wanted to be in the mix, in the daily mix of the storylines and the rivalries, and AEW is giving him that chance. So I'm looking forward to that. Not looking forward to seeing Sting wrestle. Please don't. I don't want to see him get hurt.
Absolutely, Dan. I understand. And I think, are you saying that you rather see Sting in a Jake the Snake Roberts type of persona with AEW where he's pushing younger talent over?
I think so. But he has to be very, very careful, though. Sting, luckily, the guy, the person behind Sting is a very humble person, very kind of faithful. He's very religious. So he's not someone who has a huge ego or needs to take the spotlight. I think Sting is someone who would be able to balance, be able to give someone that kind of, that rub of being around him, but not feeling like he needs to take the spotlight. And that's a big balance there that they need to do. So he needs to make sure he doesn't overpower and outshine whoever he's working with. But I think, Sting can definitely give some younger talent that shine, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, already, Dan, I know we have a special guest coming up as well, Dan. Let's talk a little bit about
Oh,
that. We have
yeah.
Shal Guerrero coming up on the show as well. It's going to be
And also
exciting.
more wrestling tickets are given away in the next segment after we talk to Shaw. Don't call now because we will not answer.
Yes,
may
we will not answer.
Pledger may hang up on you. I don't know.
Yeah, listen, Pledger's had a long day.
I mean, I
We're
might
not
still
trying
answer.
to. Oh, okay. Just you might have the opportunity to talk a quick little bit with James Pledger, right? Local celebrity, but you might not get any tickets till next segment. So with that, let's
he's
go
a good
ahead.
conversationalist, though.
He is. He's wonderful. That's why he's here. I'll tell you what. Listen.
Just call James Pledger now. Just tell him about your life.
Yeah. Listen. We will give you we'll give you James's mobile phone number later on. Listen in for a chance to win James Pledger's mobile phone number later on as well. So it's gonna we'll make sure. We'll make sure to get some great messages left for Pledger over the next 24 hours. But with that, Dan, let's take a quick break. You were listening to ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, 1250 AM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com/wrestling.
Jason Minix here from the Blitz. You know, in San Antonio, we have some of the hardest water in the country. If your water smells or has an odd taste, call Alamo Water Softeners at 210-274-6122. Alamo Water Softeners is a locally owned family-run business that offers the highest quality water softeners at affordable prices. Free in-home or phone estimates available. Get clean, soft water by calling Alamo Water Softeners, 210-274-6122, or go to their website, alamowatersofteners.com.
Napa know-how.
Nothing causes holiday stress like the words, "some assembly required." Well, Napa's here to help with an Evercraft 100-piece screwdriver set for just $19.99. So no matter what Santa and his elves leave for you to put together, you'll be prepared. So save on the Evercraft 100-piece screwdriver set and other great tools from Napa. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating locations while supplies last. Offer ends 12/31/20.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider and are only available if the provider determines a prescription is appropriate. Subscription required. See website for full details and important safety information.
Hey guys, good news. The outrageously expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And Hims makes it extra affordable. You pay just $30 for a month's supply. And right now, get your first online doctor's visit totally free when you go to forhims.com/real. That's right, free, zero copay, no expensive appointments, no awkward face-to-face conversations to get your prescription. Hims connects you to doctors online who can evaluate you and, if appropriate, prescribe your ED medication. And a pharmacy sends it right to your door. Hims makes it affordable, private, and incredibly easy. Nobody likes dealing with ED. Now, thanks to Hims, nobody has to. And that's really good news. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/real. That's forhims.com/real for your free online visit. forhims.com/real.
Whatever you send through the U.S. Postal Service this season is so much more than mail or packages. In every carrier's hands is a card with your handwriting. In every box, on every truck, is your message that you care. We know how much goes into your holiday mail, especially this year, which is why we go the distance to bring you closer. Learn more at USPS.com/closer.
I'm Dr. Andrea Russo, a cardiologist. Maybe you're waiting to talk to your doctor right now. But if you're having an irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, don't wait. This could be a serious condition like atrial fibrillation, which can make you about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you're having these symptoms, don't wait. Talk to a doctor by phone, online, or in person.
Brought to you by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
It is down for the counts. Your ESPN San Antonio wrestling show. My name is Dangerous Dan Cialana. I'm here with my tag team partner, Brandon Big Papi Medina. James Pledger running the gorilla position. And right now, Brandon, are you ready for some Latina heat?
I am ready for some Latina heat.
All right. I don't know if you're ready. But ready or not, here she is. Shal Guerrero, how you doing? Thanks for coming on the show.
Oh my God, I'm so excited to be here, guys. Thanks for having me.
Now, this is so cool. So, you don't have to give away your exact GPS location, but are you in the San Antonio area at this moment?
I sure am, and I'm loving it.
You're loving it. Now, I knew that because I saw you on Instagram. What a good what? Okay, that sounded weird.
That's not stalkers. It did sound a little stalkerish, Dan, already. We're on a bad foot.
No. She was at the Salvation Army with our friend Thunder Rosa, hanging out, helping the community. What a good person. A better person than you and I think, Brandon. So what do you? Okay,
oh my gosh,
I think so. You're a good person. I can just tell. Now, Shaul Guerrero, you had the chance to do something very special just a few days ago. You returned to the ring for the first time in 6 years. Tell us how it felt to be back competing in the ring after so long.
Oh my God, absolutely. I was like so nervous. I can't even tell you how nervous I was, just because, I want to do a good job for everybody. I want to put everything on the line. And honestly, it was so magical. I was pleasantly surprised that I did as well as I did. I had amazing opponents, and I got to wrestle today with Thunder Rosa, like privately, and train a little bit. And honestly, I'm so glad to be back. I'm so glad the wrestling community has opened their arms to me and has been very positive about me coming back.
Now, Shaul Guerrero, I know you've been very open about, like, you've had a lot of struggles in your life. You've had to overcome things, and so during that time that you couldn't wrestle, that you just, because wrestlers, man, they need to just be in that ring, and you miss it so much when you're not there. How did you keep yourself sane and like just alive while not being able to be in the ring like that? How did you just get through that pain and just have hope?
Absolutely. Honestly, it's a lot about your support system, about having faith, in whatever it is, the universe, God, whatever it is, and finding your joys in life. Honestly, I was at my lowest point when I wasn't entertaining people, whether it's wrestling or dance or whatever. I was at my lowest point, and I finally, accepted that I am an entertainer. I belong in front of an audience, just like all the rest of my family. And once I found that out and started dancing and started finding, who I really was as a person, that's honestly what got me through. So slow burn, but we're here now.
Yeah, absolutely, Shaul. And I think, you look at it, this is Brandon, by the way, and whenever we talk about, you mentioned having to find the joys in life and talking with family and stuff, who was the one person in your family that really pushed you to make the jump back into professional wrestling and make the jump back into the in-ring action, and why? Why do you think them talking with you really helped get the ball rolling?
I will say who my biggest supporter is, and which is so hard. Like I do have a wonderful support system in my husband and in my mother, and in my family. But honestly, man, it was me. Like, I am doing this for me. I made the decision 100%. I was the one that, got reignited. And honestly, it was when I was at AEW announcing for their tag team tournament that the bug bit me 100% again. And my husband and my mother and my sister, like, just so many great people pushed me to be brave enough to take the plunge. And that's where we're here now. So I'm actually doing it now.
Now, Shaul Guerrero, you've been very open about how being Eddie and Vicky's daughter is both a blessing and a curse. That's what you said. Your words, not mine. So why is being a Guerrero and being a third generation wrestler both a blessing and a curse?
Well, I guess we'll do the curse first. Honestly, those are big boots to fill. That's a large shadow, and I have a feeling I'm going to be struggling for a long time to be able to etch my own niche in the wrestling community. And and there is a lot of pressure. A lot of doors open up for me, which is part of the blessing aspect of it. I get to wrestle amazing opponents right off the bat, but at the same time, people expect me to be Eddie Guerrero or Vicky Guerrero or my family right out the gate. And I still got a lot of learning to do. And I hope that the wrestling fans and everybody can bear with me as I'm learning and getting comfortable out there and, finding who I am, who Shaul Guerrero is, not Eddie or Vicky or Chavo, Mando, Hector, Gory, anybody like that. I'm just trying to find my place.
Yeah, and I think, Shaul, you have two great friends over here, and myself and Dan are always going to be here to support you at ESPN San Antonio. We're big fans of not only Latinas in professional wrestling, but also professional wrestling as a whole. And I think what I want to get to is when it comes to competition, who are some of the female competitors around the world that you're focused in on, that you're looking at to either possibly have a match down the road, or you're just looking at technique and style that you really would love to mimic your style off of?
Oh my God, that's so hard. It's like asking your favorite food or your favorite band. Honestly, like I feel very blessed to have Thunder Rosa as a mentor, and I can't wait to officially step in the ring with her one day at some kind of capacity. I mean, there's so many competitors at AEW that I would really love to work with. I mean, Abaddon is seriously so cool. And, you know, I really love ground and pound wrestlers. Serena Deeb is someone I would really love to wrestle. God, there's so many. I can't even begin to tell you. Like, I want to go to Impact. I want to wrestle Taya Valkyrie, you know, and Jessica Havoc. So the list can go on and on. I feel like I've been building a list for all these years I haven't been wrestling. And so hopefully now I can make those dreams a reality.
All right, speaking of Thunder Rosa, as far as I know, you will be at Mission Pro Wrestling on Friday night. Is that correct?
Hell yeah, we're going to run it back at Mission Pro Wrestling at Buda, Texas. We're so excited.
That's cool. And also, we can meet you if we want to. If you follow her on Instagram, but you want to follow her in real life, you can. We can meet you this Saturday. Is that correct?
Absolutely. At Rolling Oaks Mall in San Antonio, Texas. Come meet me. I swear I'm not as mean as people think I am.
I got to ask you about that. You know, and again, I know you're more than just Vicky and Eddie's daughter. However, and you know, Vicky, your mom, has been on our show, and she's a nice person, right, Brandon? She's a nice lady.
She was wonderful.
However, I just imagine what's it like being a teenager, getting in trouble, and you come home, you've been out late, a little bit too late, longer than you're supposed to, and your mom is standing at the door, and your mom is Vicky Guerrero. How does that work?
You know what? I didn't get in too much trouble when I was a teenager for that particular reason. Because when I was young, I had the fear of God instilled in me real quick. When your dad's Eddie Guerrero and your mom's Vicky Guerrero, yeah, you learn how to get in line real quick.
Now, Shaw, we just have a couple more minutes left with you. And you mentioned your husband earlier, and your husband is better known to a lot of people as Aiden English. So how many times did you have to hear him practice singing Rusev Day around the house?
Honestly, like he just always had it in him, and I think he spared me. He really tried to not do it when I was at the house, but best believe I know when he's doing a cameo or when he's doing a special request for a fan, because his voice, he's just got a voice that carries, man. You know?
It's got to be terrible. I can imagine you wake up and you're like, you don't want to ask him what day it is. Is it Tuesday? Because you know he's going to start singing it's Rusev Day. But, oh my gosh, Shaw Guerrero,
Absolutely.
you know, this went by so quick. We can talk to you for an hour. We definitely could. But if you need more Shaw Guerrero in your life, you want to see her in person, you got to go to Mission Pro Wrestling tomorrow nights at Pinball's Kingdom. Thunder Rosa's Mission Pro Wrestling. Run it back. And here in San Antonio, you can meet her at the Wrestling Shop at Rolling Oaks Mall. That's going to be on Saturday. Shaw Guerrero, we definitely got to have you back soon, because there's so much we can talk to you about.
I would absolutely love that. Thank you guys so much. You guys were awesome.
Thank you. Have a great night.
You too, guys.
Thanks. All right, Brandon, how about that? Shaw Guerrero.
Yeah, absolutely.
The second Guerrero to be on our show. Okay, this guy's on mute here.
Listen. Come on. When we're talking about social distancing, we're talking about being distant away from each other, Dan. Things happen, you know what I'm saying? I apologize. I was trying to control my excitement, if you will, on mute. But with that, it came full circle, Dan. So we've had the one and only Vicky Guerrero. We've now had Shaw Guerrero, and for me, I've been asked plenty of times who would be my. I'm sure you had the question asked to you, Dan. If you could talk to, three people at a round table discussion or something, dead or alive, Eddie Guerrero was always in that. So I think it's incredible to get to know this Guerrero family, not only on a personal note, but on a professional note. And truly, like we said, Dan, we've kind of been the catapult for a lot of people that have come on here this show. Right after they've joined Royal Rumbles, they've joined other organizations, they've been put in storylines. So we're wishing the same success and good fortune to Shaw Guerrero, I'm sure.
Somebody's confident over here.
I'm just saying, Dan. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's because of you, it's because of me, or the wonderful cashmere sweaters that Mr. James Pledger pulls out. I have no idea. But All I know is one of us is bringing some good luck to a lot of these wrestlers that do show up on the show.
You know what? I'm going to pull out right now is a couple of passes.
Oh, I was nervous for a second. I was nervous what you were pulling out for
later.
a second.
That's on the OnlyFans. A couple of free tickets to Mission Pro Wrestling. Thunder Rosa's Mission Pro Wrestling presents Run It Back tomorrow night, Friday, December 11th, 7:30 p.m. at Pinball's Kingdom in Buda, Texas. See Thunder Rosa, Shaw Guerrero, who we just talked to, Red Velvet, and all the badass women of Mission Pro Wrestling. Get your tickets at missionprowrestling.net or stream it live at TitleMatchNetwork.com. Of course, COVID safety protocols will be strictly enforced for all fans in attendance. Find out more at missionprowrestling.net. But if you want to win a free pair of pair of passes,
Peter Piper pick a pepper.
Be caller number 5 right now, 210-656-ESPN. That's 210-656-3776 to win tickets to Mission Pro Wrestling tomorrow night. Again, caller 5, 210-656-3776. And this is Down for the Count, your 1250 ESPN San Antonio wrestling show on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at espnsa.com/wrestling.
Working from home, you realize you don't have enough outlets or USB ports. Hill Electric can fix that for you. For over 3 decades, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. From adding an outlet, fixing that fuse that always blows, or that flickering light, Hill Electric has the right service at the right price, and there is never a service charge and always free estimates. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or go to hill-electric.com.
Diamonds Directs just decided to squeeze in one more incredible event before Christmas. A flash sale on all earrings this weekend. Yes! Save an unprecedented 25% off all earrings at Diamonds Direct. Get Diamonds Direct's unbeatable price plus an extra 25% savings. All diamond studs are included. So this is huge. Special financing too. Guys, you can never go wrong with a nice pair of diamond stud earrings. And you've never seen prices this low. It's Friday through Sunday only. A truly epic earring event at Diamonds Direct.
At the shops at La Cantera.
It's been a hell of a year, San Antonio. I'm Chip Ingram, and my bars, the Brew Pub and Angry Elephant, have been closed more than they've been open, and I didn't see that coming. Fortunately, things are getting better. 281 North is open, and football is finally here. Our kitchen is open every day till 2 a.m., and we open for happy hour at 11 a.m. And you know, as our customers say, our food is pretty darn good. So this is me asking you to help a local guy and his staff get back on our feet. Come see us at the Brew Pub and Angry Elephant at 281 North and Redland Road.
Mom, thanks for taking me to work with you today.
It's my pleasure, honey.
Gee, you work with lots of people who don't look like you at all.
What do you mean?
Well, there are Asian people and African Americans and Latinos and...
Of course there are. Here, we all work together as a team.
But aren't they different than you are?
In a way, but those differences are good because they mean different ways of saying things, different ways of thinking things, and different ways of doing things.
But Mom, if all that different stuff is so good where you work, how come where we live, everyone looks just like us?
Diversity shouldn't be left behind at work each day. In our neighborhoods, it can create a greater appreciation and respect for cultural differences and prepare our children for the global life that lies ahead. After all, your family doesn't live in a 9-to-5 world. Why should diversity?
Mom, the people you work with are awesome. I really like them.
To better understand the benefits of diversity in your community, log on to aricherlife.org. That's www.aricherlife.org. A message brought to you by the National Fair Housing Alliance in celebration of the 40th anniversary of the Fair Housing Act.
The secret of my success, before every matchup, I pump up with this. Arrogance. It's today's man in a classic can. The fragrance that overwhelms, and pins down the competition. It's arrogance for man. Until we meet.
If you're still looking for that perfect Christmas present. Order you some Rick Martel Arrogance cologne.
Wow. I think this is what I wear usually. This is everyday fragrance for me.
Be very careful. Don't spray it in your eyes because you'll go blind.
Wow. Listen, I've heard a lot of ways you can go blind from when I was a kid,
Yeah.
right? Now, Dan Cialana, one thing I want to talk about real quick, Dan, is we do our show, right? You can find us wherever you find podcasts. You can find us on ESPN San Antonio. Did you just now get my blind joke? I think you did.
It took me about 20 seconds.
It took you a little bit. However,
it's the internet stream delay, I think.
I think that's what it was.
My mind, maybe.
However, we are not the only ones that do wrestling shows or wrestling podcasts, but we are the only ones that do it to this level in San Antonio. But our friend Booker T over in Houston has the Hall of Fame podcast, and we were talking about Sting earlier, Dan. I thought it'd be a great segue because listen to this. Listen to what Booker T said. I think you're going to have some strong feelings about this. Booker T said, I quote, quick little 2 paragraphs, said Sting being 61, he could still go out there and go. He could still go out there and move. He can go out there and do a little something in the ring. How much? I think it really wouldn't matter with him and a guy like Chris Jericho. I think they could go out and pretty much smoke and mirrors and tell a story even at the age Sting is right now. I say that because here in Houston we had Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Between the two of those guys at the time, it was about 100 years old because both of them were 50 at the time. They went out, had the best match on the card by far that night. They told the best story by far that night. So my thing is the perfect person that's going to go out there and dance with him properly, make sure he walks out of that ring more importantly than anything, would be Chris Jericho. Thoughts on the comparison of Sting versus Chris Jericho to The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, which, as we know, is probably one of the greatest matches of all time.
Well, I respect Booker T, of course. I could never tell Booker T his business. However, there is a big difference between 50 years old and 61 years old, like Sting. But like Booker T said, if they use some smoke and mirrors, that's kind of like, kind of saying, hey, let's protect Sting a little bit. Let's do some gimmicky stuff so that he looks good. So I think Sting would be a perfect person to do one of these cinematic matches that are becoming very, very popular. I think it'd be great. I just go back to my original point. I don't want Sting to physically exert himself, put himself in a dangerous situation. It's not worth it. But it doesn't mean that he can't be in any kind of match. I just don't want to see him in a traditional wrestling match. But if he can do some smoke and mirrors, like Booker T said, I think in that case, I'd like to see Sting in some kind of competition.
I think Chris Jericho as the Painmaker with the face paint and all that stuff would be very, very cool to do. I do think there is a huge discrepancy, not only in age with 61 to 50, but also, Dan, let's keep it honest, right? We're wrestling fans first, but we're also wrestling quote unquote journalists second. Real quick, Dan.
Journalist.
Shawn Michaels at that time was a lot better than Chris Jericho at this time.
Yeah, I mean, no offense to Chris Jericho, but Shawn
not at all. But at that time, he
is one of the best of all time.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels was still Shawn Michaels, where I think Chris Jericho obviously has taken a little step down. Not really in ring work, but just overall because of the general scheduling of AEW. You know what I mean? It doesn't have the same effect. He's not wrestling every week to week, but I just think both of those guys were really meant for each other when it comes to being in a ring and being in action and, just really playing off of each other and creating a great storyline. But I think to compare it to that might be too big of a level. That seems too crazy to try to match because, Dan, you were there at 25, I believe, right?
I was not.
Okay, well, I was there at 25, and 1,000% the greatest match I've ever seen with my two eyes in person. And to this day, probably the greatest match I've ever seen, period. I've watched it. It's almost like a tradition to watch it every year for me. So I think that match is too hard to try to recreate. However, Sting and Jericho just might do it.
Brandon, I agree. But I think you'll agree that I think we should give away some Mission Pro Wrestling tickets before we wrap up here because we have 2 more tickets. You want to take it away this time, Brandon? You want to give away these tickets? Tickets for tomorrow night's Mission Pro Wrestling?
Absolutely. We do have our last pair of the night, some free tickets to Thunder Rosa's Mission Pro Wrestling presents Run It Back. That's going to be tomorrow at 7:30 at Pinball's Kingdom in Buda, Texas. You're going to be able to see Thunder Rosa, Shao Guerrero, who we just had on, Red Velvet, and all the badass women of Mission Pro Wrestling. Get your tickets at missionprowrestling.net. Stream it live at titlematchnetwork.com. And also, we're going to be giving some tickets right now to caller number 7. Caller number 7, you'll be getting some free tickets. COVID safety protocols will be strictly enforced for all fans in attendance. Find out more at missionprowrestling.net.
What if Dustin Rhodes calls in and he's caller number 7? Do you think he's going to get very upset? It's going to bring back traumatic memories of WCW?
I think it just might. Dustin Rhodes was actually in a War Games back in the day, was he not? We were talking about War Games way back when, but yeah, I do think that would be kind of traumatic for somebody like that. But feel free to win this free pair of tickets. You can call right now at 210-656-ESPN. Once again, that is 210-656-3776. Be caller number 7 to win your tickets to Mission Pro Wrestling.
And by the way, Brandon, obviously we can't give tickets to everybody listening. I wish we could. But if you can't be there in person for Mission Pro Wrestling, you can go to Title Match Network and stream it live. You can see it from the comfort of your home if you can't make it out there to Pinball's Kingdom in person. It's going to be a great show. I heard a lot of great things about the last Mission Pro Wrestling show. Thunder Rosa and all those women, man, they just wrestle their ass off and they put on a great show. They're going to be taking over the world. Taking over the world. So, and our new friend, Shao Guerrero, who we talked to just a little while ago tonight, she'll be there. She'll be a ring announcer, and it's going to be a fun time tomorrow night, Mission Pro Wrestling.
It really is. And then Saturday at Rolling Oaks Mall, make sure to go stop by, support your local wrestlers as well as the women of Mission Pro Wrestling. I love the wrestling shop. I've been before just casually.
The new location.
Yeah, the new location is one I have not been to, but I know I've been there before. They treat you great. They have awesome action figures, awesome authentic stuff from way back when to now. So that's definitely a great place to be, just as a wrestling fan in general.
Yeah, go over there, say hi. Say you heard about it on ESPN San Antonio.
Yeah, make sure you let them know Big Papi and Dangerous Dan Cialana sent you.
And then tell them to send a check.
And then send them exactly. Tell them on the royalty check.
Okay, they don't have to send a check, but you can just send a few wrestling figures,
Yeah, absolutely. Give us maybe
there.
maybe a signed figure here and there would help to
just a signed belt,
or
2 or 3. I don't know.
Right. I mean, listen,
I'm not a greedy man. I'll take three signed championship belts, and that's all it takes. I'm a humble guy.
Sounds good.
I'm easily.
Caller number 7 at 656-3776. Get your tickets. That's the bottom line. Because down for the count.
Said so.
Follow Down for the Count on Twitter at DFTC Podcast.
Celebrate home with gifts from Lowe's, like Craftsman Mechanics tool sets with a full lifetime warranty, starting at just $39.98.